Hey guys, today I got my T28 Funfighter from HobbyKing. What I'll be doing is basically giving you a look at how it comes in the box. I'll be doing a bit of a setup video and of course a bit of a flight video at the end. So let's have a look at what's in the box. So here's a better look at what you get included in the box. The fuselage here, the elevator servo already installed. What you'll notice is it's not actually illusion. The shaft is actually on quite a bit of an angle to counteract the torque, and you can see it's actually, the motor itself is offset in the cowling there. There's your main canopy there with two of your pilots and the wing there. Again with the servos and the horns pre-installed. I'd recommend just to double check all these linkages just to make sure the glue has basically glued them properly. There's the tail there. One thing I did note is it's actually shaped, it's not a flat piece, so that's good. And your vertical there. With the speed controller, I've heard online that on 3-cell it's fine, but a bit iffy reports on 4-cell. So if you're going to be running it on 4-cell, I'd recommend upgrading it to something that you trust. And there's your elevator rod there and your spare props. The manual is actually reasonably good. It's not written in Chinglish, so it's quite easy to understand. There is one bit that I think they missed out, and that's actually the installation of this control rod here. That should actually be installed before you put this tailpiece on. Otherwise, when you actually go to connect it all up to the horns, by the time the other tailpiece is on, you won't actually be able to get to it very well, if at all. So it's definitely a must that you install that first. I've just slotted all the pieces together, they all fit together quite well. You'll see around the back here where I mentioned about the control rod before, there's pretty much no space to work there, so it's definitely a must doing that first. So all I have to do is glue it together. As you can see, it's quite a nice looking little model, and being that there's hardly many pieces to glue, it shouldn't take very long. Okay, I've got my data logger ready. It was all recording. Let's see what I got. Total flight time of a bit over 4 minutes. Travelled 2.6 miles. Oh, 115 miles an hour. I've got no idea what that is in Ks. I'll put that up on the screen for you. And average of 38. So I was only obviously doing that on the speed runs. Height of 518 feet. So there you go. 115 mile an hour. So that's the T28 Funfighter. I think 115 mile an hour is pretty good for such a small plane. For the setup, the control surfaces, you really don't want very much actual throw in your surfaces. This is this is full deflection, so it's really not very much. It's a very twitchy plane if you have too much. And here's a look at the ailerons. So you really don't want very much in your control throws. I did add a bit of this fibre tape across the bottom here, just to give a bit more stiffness to the wing. With the canopy, it's a very secure fit. All you do is slide it forward and there's a little notch there, and once that's past the back there, you can just pull it straight out. The recommended battery is an 850 milliamp 4-cell. I've basically got a 1000 milliamp 4-cell in there. Slight amount of foam trimming, but it fits fine, and a little bit of extra capacity is always a good thing. The speed controller, I didn't use the stock one. I've actually used a 30 amp speed controller. Basically the one that comes with it, I've heard isn't very reliable, so you'll want to make sure you exchange that. It's definitely not a beginner plane, purely because of the speed of it. You would need to be an intermediate, I would say, on 3-cell, and 4-cell you advance purely because of the speed. But its handling in the air, it was dead stable. It handled quite a bit of wind. I've had it up in the wind, it just seems to penetrate through it quite well. It's an awesome plane. It's actually very quiet. I wasn't expecting it to be that quiet, but I'd definitely recommend it. And I'd probably encourage even any of the Funfighters, but definitely the Trojan. It's a blast to fly. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you for the next one. Your top and bottom fuselage halves, both main. Now the motor can actually come straight apart.